Good day, everyone. We are down to the last part of Chapter 6, and this will be about involving the industry and stakeholders and preparing for changes in the competitive environment. Involving the industry and stakeholders. So, first, what or who are stakeholders? Stakeholders is a party that has an interest in a company and can either affect or be affected by the business. The primary stakeholders in a typical corporation are its investors, employees, customers, and suppliers. However, with the increasing attention on corporate social responsibility, the concept has been extended to include communities, government, and trade associations. A company improves the odds of success if it can ally most, if not all, domestic companies in its industry. Otherwise, officials may feel that its problems are due to its specific inefficiencies rather than the general import challenges or difficulty in gaining export sales. Similarly, involving other stakeholders can help, such as the taxpayers and merchants in the communities where it operates. Involving stakeholders help translate stakeholder needs into organizational goals and creates the basis of effective strategy development, and it is beneficial to enhance the credibility, legitimacy, and final quality of decisions. Engaging with stakeholder is crucial to the success of any organization. Finally, it can lobby decision makers and endorse the political candidates who are sympathetic to its situation. Now, let's move on to preparing for changes in the competitive environment. Companies can take different approaches to deal with changes in the international competitive environment. Frequently, their attitudes towards protectionism are a function of the investments they have made to implement their national strategy. Those that depend on freer trade and/or have integrated their production and supply chains among countries tend to oppose protectionism. Because, as what the reporters before me have discussed, trade protectionism limits the movements of goods from one country to another and involves tariffs, quotas, and many more. In contrast, those with single or multi-domestic production facilities, such as a plant in Japan to serve the Japanese market and a plant in Taiwan to serve the Taiwanese market, tend to support protectionism. For a relatively small country like the Philippines, being able to sell our products to the rest of the world is crucial. Here's a clip of President Duterte on the ASEAN anniversary who warns about protectionism.
Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte calls on the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to reject protectionist policies on the last day of ASEAN meetings being held in Manila. Duterte urges the ASEAN's foreign ministers to take a serious look at the economic integration of the Southeast Asian region.
ASEAN has a bigger stake than any other part of the world in standing up against protectionism and securing the rules of the game in the international trade.
Duterte also recalls the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a trade deal shepherded by former United States President Barack Obama, which has now been shelved by President Donald Trump. The TPP was a trade deal involving 12 countries that look to integrate their economies more, slash tariffs and other trade barriers, and harmonize economic regulations and policies in order to foster trade. Duterte says the TPP was a dream that has not been realized. Trump is advocating protectionist policies to protect American jobs.
So, as a country, we tend to oppose protectionism. Companies also differ in their self-perception of being able to compete against imports. In nearly half the cases over a 60-year period in which U.S. firms proposed protecting a U.S. industry, one or more companies in that industry opposed it, typically commanding competitive advantages in terms of scale economies, supplier relationships, or differentiated products. Thus, they reasoned that not only could they successfully battle international rivals, they also stood to gain even more as their weaker domestic competitors failed to do so. Although Representative democracies tend to share many features. The process whereby citizens select representative to make decisions on their behalf varies from country to country, especially when it comes to the centralization or decentralization of authority. That would be all for Chapter 6. Thank you for watching and listening. God bless.